Welcome to Madrid Reviews. This is your host, Christian Madrid, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about Disclosure Day. Let's get to the review now, yo. Alright, y'all, let's get into this. Man, I am back on YouTube. It has been a minute. I did want to talk about Backrooms and Scary Movie and full-length videos here on YouTube, but I just didn't have time. I had a lot of things come up, vacation to Vegas, graduation, birthday, all that good stuff. But now I am back, and I'm here to talk about one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year so far, Disclosure Day, directed by the legendary Steven Spielberg. So I just watched this movie last night, and Disclosure Day is phenomenal. The way this movie tackles aliens and wanting to find out their existence, it's very refreshing, and it seems closer to the truth than any other movie before it, any other alien movie. Steven Spielberg has done a phenomenal job directing this movie, as he seems very passionate about aliens, as he's made so many movies about them, like Close Encounters, E.T., War of the Worlds, and now Disclosure Day. So he seems really passionate to find out for himself if, aliens do exist. The writing is phenomenal, as it tells a great story about a whistleblower trying to expose the truth about aliens' existence, but the government is trying to prevent this from happening in this movie throughout. They do everything they can to try to prevent this. But, we'll see if they do. I won't spoil anything. I love a great sci-fi thriller, and this movie does a great job in balancing these genres. This movie tackles a lot of interesting themes of, extraterrestrial life and religion, and if these two can coexist with each other. And I think both things can be true at the same time, me personally. The aliens can be real, and yes, God, Jesus can be real as well. I think both of these things can be true, and I think this movie handles both of these aspects very well in this movie. Disclosure Day is not really an action movie, but it does have a couple great action and chase sequences in the movie. The whole movie was great, but the final half hour in this film was beautiful and emotional. Definitely my favorite part of this film, as one of the best movie endings I've seen in a while. It's a great movie ending. The way this movie ends had me speechless. I think aliens are real, and I think this movie convinced me more that they are real, and I think it's a very relevant movie for now, especially with all the things we're hearing, are aliens real and stuff, there's proof, the Roswell incident, this movie also tackles that too, the acting is phenomenal in this movie, as Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, and Coleman Domingo give phenomenal performances. Hi, Halo. They all give phenomenal performances. The acting is great in this movie. The cinematography is excellent, The movie is beautifully shot with great camera work and a brilliant production design behind it. The visual effects are terrific. There's some great CGI throughout this movie, and the sound effects are great, and it makes this film feel even more surreal to it. The score by John Williams is great. He is a legendary composer. It's not his best score, but it's still amazing. The GOAT himself. The editing is phenomenal, with great pacing. That's a little long. It's a bit of a long movie, almost 2.5 hours, but it justifies the runtime with great storytelling and compelling characters throughout. Overall, Disclosure Day is another great Steven Spielberg movie, and I think the fact that Steven Spielberg directed this movie alone should convince you to watch this movie. He has directed many classics, some of the greatest movies of all time: Schindler's List, Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Lincoln, Close Encounters, Saving Private Ryan, recently Ready Player One, The Fabelmans. I can go on and on with all these great movies. He's definitely a top 5 director for sure. I highly recommend checking out Disclosure Day. I'm really rooting for this movie at the box office. So many surprise hits, these past few months. Obsession, Backrooms, Scary Movie, all doing great at the box office. I'm really hoping this movie pulls through. The Michael Jackson movie, damn near almost about to hit $1 billion. Now it's become the highest grossing music biopic of all time, past Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm really hoping for Disclosure Day. Please go watch it. I highly recommend checking it out. I'm giving this movie an A. We're eating very good watching this movie. In and out, Chick-fil-A type shit. All right, y'all. So that's the end of the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment on whether you have seen this movie or excited to see it. And if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. What's your favorite extraterrestrial alien movie? You can't beat those aliens, movies, directed by Ridley Scott and James Cameron. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button alert so know when I drop a new review. I appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time you watch this. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch me talk about movies. Thank you. Bye-bye.